Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Welcome to snowy, confused Ohio because here it can be 70, 75 degrees one day and then be, I don't know, have tornadoes the next day, and then a day or two after that it snows. So that's what we deal with around here. But anyways, well, let's get in the shop and get started. I'm going to be working on the four-door more today, obviously. Trying to get the cross-member stuff done. Dad's been working on that stuff still. Going to be hopefully getting that stuff together and welded up today. I'm going to be finishing up the steps. I know I got them started in the last video and didn't get them done yet because I was not feeling very good. So took the weekend to recover. I should be still not 100%, but I'm definitely better than I was. So plan is to get the steps done today, get the cross members done today, and start on stuff back here with the gooseneck hitch and getting this back all smooth and leveled out. So that's the direction. This thing needs to come together this week. I got a lot to do. I know I say that a lot, but it's true. There's a bunch that's come together here in the next few weeks. So I did tentatively set up Lyndon, the guy that painted my the back of my truck, and sandblasted Todd's truck. I guess he sandblasted mine too. I got him lined up to blast and paint this frame and stuff for this one. And Friday morning, and it's Monday. Yeah, I got a lot to do. So gonna be some long hours this week probably to get this thing to that point, but it's what I got to do because we went to Mid-America Truck Show and then I was sick and just a little bit behind on where I need to be at. So, well, enough talking. Let's get started on something. There's step number one done. They tuck in here pretty nice, and there's two bolts you can see that hold there, and there's two up there. So those come into a plate that's welded here and there, so that holds all this together nice. And then there's a bolt right up there, there's a bolt up in there, and one up in there. And then I rounded this corner off. I'm gonna flap this, make it look all nice. And then I have this one brace that's welded to the bottom side and then up there to the cab. And then I have this kicker that's removable. It goes to the frame. And that dude is very, very strong. so I'm not worried about it at all. I was thinking I'd have to put another one up here in the middle, but I don't think that's going to have to happen. So now I just have to repeat this on the other side. Well, Dad and I got back from getting some lunch. He's got a jigsaw puzzle for me to put together here. Got all the pieces cut for this cross member. So I'm going to get them laid out and tacked together, and then we'll put it over in the truck and just make sure that everything fits good. And then I'll finish weld it out and get it in the truck. Well, there it is. There's a second cross member. I think those come out pretty neat. It's a lot of work to cut all those pieces out, but Dad wanted to do it, and I think they came out looking pretty cool. That one's got a nice notch in it, so if Jared ever decides to airbag it, there's plenty of room for that drive shaft to come up in there. And then this cross member with the carry bearing going through it, just pretty cool, especially from the back. It just looks really neat. So, but we got those done. Got the steps done on each side. Got the braces in them. They're nice and sturdy. They hold my fat butt, so I'm sure they'll be fine. And they're nice and clean up against there. Real happy with how the steps came out. So just we're getting closer. Definitely making some progress. But tomorrow we're going to start tackling the back of this thing. So I know in the morning, Marketplace got me again. I found a bandsaw that's a lot nicer than the one that I have, and it also goes vertical so that we can use it as a vertical bandsaw, so we can cut more of this metal without using up all these blades. So Dad was a big drive behind that. He's like, I'm tired of using up these discs. So, but shout out to Dad. I appreciate you coming and helping me. It's been fun to, work with him and stuff here. So appreciate you coming and helping, Dad. But we're going to be working on this more tomorrow. So first thing, we'll get started on this gooseneck plate. I'm going to make some brackets, kind of like I did on Todd's truck, some angle iron that'll come in here like this. And then I'll weld a big plate to the bottom of this and cut these off and burn this dude in there real heavy. And then there'll be like 4 5/8 bolts on both sides that'll attach the gooseneck hitch. And then we'll start leveling the back and plating the sides and make this thing look like a semi, I guess. So got to build fuel tank brackets. I do have the front fenders are here and the rear fenders or the mud flaps are here. Still waiting on the rear bumper though. It should be coming here before too long. But yeah, happy with the progress. There's a little view from the back. Pretty happy with those cross members. They turned out pretty cool. But I think I'm gonna end it off there for tonight and go in because we gotta be trying to think. It's up near Indian or Lake Erie where we're going, so we're leaving at like 5:30 so we can get up there to get the saw. So I probably won't video much of that, but I'll definitely show you guys the saw once we get back. So see you guys tomorrow. Well, it's the next day. Dad and I had a little adventure going up to close to Lake Erie. While we seen water. We were close. We were right there. But picked up this bad girl. It's an Ellis bandsaw. It's going to be awesome. It does go vertical like that, or it cuts horizontal. The only thing is that this blade, the way they had it set up, it had to stay twisted. So your material would have to be pushed in this way. So you could only cut the depth of what you could get here. So Dad's thinking about, because these normally twist around and attach to there. So he's thinking if we could make some brackets, then you could have a longer throat that you could push longer stuff through. So he's going to mess with that and see if he can figure out how to make that happen. But super happy to have this. It's going to be so much nicer. I mean, we went from that to that. A little bit of a difference. So excited and happy to have that. It's going to help a lot for cutting material. It's got it'll cut 14 inches this way, and then it's got 11-inch depth in this throat here. So I think it's rated to cut 11-inch pipe at 90 degrees or 9-inch pipe at 45. So it'll cut some pretty big stuff. So happy to have that. But enough with the new toy. It's time to get back started on this. So I'm going to first off get this gooseneck plate trimmed down and get it attached. So I got to make my brackets on the sides down in here and make my plate and just do everything I do to get it attached. So then we can figure out our height that we need for leveling this frame back here. So that's the plan. Here's what we got, a little update for you. You guys see me weld these angle irons on both sides of the frame. They are burning nice and heavy, and they are super heavy duty, so I think we're going to be good there. But the gooseneck plate is still resting on the frame like it always did, or the way it was designed, but now it's even got even more support out here under the arms better. And yes, I cut these off just so the plate can be smooth on this outside. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of a flat steel that will go under all this, that I will weld to these arms on both sides. And then I'm going to actually put a piece across here and a piece across on this side, probably close to these bolts. And then I'm going to burn it into up here, burn it into these sides, burn it into that plate. And then these will be holes that'll be through, that'll attach that plate to this part of the frame. So that way the plate's removable if it would ever need to come out for some reason. So that's the plan. So I'm going to make those plates now, get the holes drilled, get it bolted, bunch more welding, all the fun stuff, but we should have that done here tonight. have it. I think the gooseneck's done. I think having that stiffened up and having this piece in there, and yeah, I don't think any of that's going to go anywhere. Once again, I overkill stuff instead of underkill it, so I just feel better knowing that they're going to pull the trailer with this, and that's not going to go anywhere. So happy with how that turned out. So I'm going to go in and grab some lunch and come back out. And we're going to figure out how to get this frame leveled up. I went and picked up some metal. Got back here. I'm just trying to figure out what kind of plane I want this stuff on, because I got a piece of angle iron laid against the step there to try to get that line, and I got one on the frame up there where it's going to be. So I'm just making sure that gap looks right. I don't want to stand back and look like the truck's doing this or something weird. So just trying to get that figured out, and then I'm going to cut my uprights to go under that angle iron and get all that welded in, and then work on plating the sides shut. So that's what's next. There it is. Frames leveled on both sides. I left these long for the moment. I know they're way too long. Frame's probably going to get cut off somewhere in here, but the bumper's going to be here tomorrow, so I'll be able to fit it, and then I'll know exactly where to cut all that off. So, but all that's done. Everything's nice and straight. Everything's level side to side, and we're level with the top of where the gooseneck hitch goes. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on ahead and plate some of this stuff in just to smooth it off so it looks better. So I'm going to do those. I'm going to do this here, and maybe the sides. I haven't decided yet. And then these need cut off on both sides because they're sticking out too far. I'd already cut that one off, but I still need to do that one. So cut that off, smooth these spots in, and then we're going to try to cut a sheet and get this dude covered up. Well, I got all them boxed in. Those look a lot better, all smoothed off like that. Pretty happy with how all that came out. This side's done as well. Pretty pleased with those. I think that's going to make it look a lot cleaner when that plate's got all that closed off. So, yeah. But I think I'm going to call her quits for tonight. It's, I don't know, 1 o'clock or something like that. So, I'm probably going to go inside. Dad's going to be here tomorrow. I'll have him make a full side template, and then we'll transfer it onto that 12 gauge laying down there, or 10 gauge 12-foot long sheets, and we'll cut it out and put it on there as one piece. So yeah, don't have much room for error. Better cut it right the first time. But hoping that that'll close all this off, make us look all nice. And then I got fuel tank straps, or fuel tank brackets to build tomorrow, and put the leaf springs on. And at that point, it's ready for the cab to come off, and it's going to paint. So, well, it's next morning. Got my new U-bolts. So I'm going to go on ahead and get the new springs put in this thing so that that's ready and done. and then we're going to get the side plates put on and then get the fuel tank brackets built, and the bumper should be here today. So got a lot to do still before this thing to go to paint tomorrow. So I guess nothing to do but get to it. Well, it's major story time. So after having the springs in and out 2 or 3 times, I had discovered that these cabin chassis springs are a different length from the center to the front mount and the center to the rear mount. It's shorter here, it's 2 inches longer there. But when you look at the factory springs, they're the same length from center to end. So initially, I flipped the springs because it was shoving the axle forward. So I flipped the springs once Dad figured out that that length was the same, and I put them in, tied everything down, and then I started looking at the pinion angle, though. Now the pinion angle is pointing down too much, or up, or however people want to say it, but it's pointing this direction too much, so now my drive shaft angles are all off. And it's because this end is too short, and that's causing it to do this. So, and I had lowering shackles on here I tried, and that made that even worse. So here I am messed around with these leaf springs all day, and they're still not going to work. I'm going to have to get a new set that are, or another set that are like these, because those bottom springs are arched and bent. So, and something else is the rear bumper showed up, and it is not what we thought it would be either. It's actually too short, and this centerpiece from here to here is only 34 inches, and the back of the truck frame from edge to edge is 42 inches. So that's not going to fit either. So today's been a day of a lot of things not going right. So about the only thing that's gone right is that Dad has got a good start on this template for this side. So at least something's getting done. But so I'm going to have to probably put another set of leaf springs back in it. They're the same as these. Pull those back out so I can get my pinion angle back where it should be, so I don't have issues with that. And it's not going to get a rear bumper put on it. I'm going to end up having to make a rear bumper for it. But that's going to get done at a later date because it's supposed to go to paint tomorrow. Here it is, 5 o'clock, and the cab's still on it, and the back still isn't done. And we got a lot of work to do still. So I'm going to start working on fuel tank mounts because I can't do anything about the leaf springs at the moment. So fun, exciting day. So let's try to make some fuel tank mounts, and at least I can get started on some of that. Well, I got my stuff set up here. I got the Sprague & Built CNC plasma table, which consists of a bolt welded onto sheet metal and a little trolley welded onto my torch head and or my plasma tip. And I don't know. We're going to see if it's going to work. It's got to cut better than doing it freehand, so let's give it a try. this side on and done. I went on ahead and ran the flapple over these and smoothed all these edges up just makes them look a little better. I mean, I know you can still see welds up around all this, but I don't know. I just thought it made them look a little nicer. But I think that came out pretty good for it being one piece, 11 foot long. It did pretty good. Dad did a good job with the template and, cut it out, and I do a little trimming and fitting, but it worked out pretty good. And before I put this piece on, I actually took it and brought it over here to this other side, and I put it on this side just to see if it would fit nicely over here, and it's really close. So I went on ahead and marked another one out here so I can cut this one out and get it fitted and get it on the other side. Fuel tank brackets are cut out. They're right here. They still need cleaned up, and then I need to go on ahead and box the one side. And then I think the last time I boxed down the backs here where this didn't sit against the frame. So these should go on a little better as well, because I didn't freehand cut any of the sides that are going to weld to the frame. It's actually original nice edge, so that ought to make those go on there a little nicer this time. But yeah, it's been a long week and long couple days. I was out here to 1 o'clock last night. Here it is 1 o'clock again, and I'm just beat. I'm trying to push through and keep going, but I just don't have it. So I'm gonna have to get up in the morning, and I'm gonna try to get up early and come out here and get this piece cut out, get it on this other side, and get it all welded up, and then get the fuel tank brackets done, and still try to get this tore down and over to Lyndon tomorrow so he can paint this and get you guys a video put together. So yeah, the push is not over. Definitely. I mean, yeah, I wish I wasn't tired. I'd just stay out here all night and just pound it out and get it done, but I just don't have it in me. I'm just pooped. So it is what it is. But yep, so we'll just continue this in the morning. Well, the next morning out here, got, I don't know, a couple hours of sleep, whatever. So I'm going to get this side cut out, and we'll get it welded on and move on to fuel tank brackets. There it is. Got the passenger side done. Got these all smoothed out. Everything's welded in. Looks pretty good. Nice and smooth. Dad showed up again today. He's working on the fuel tank brackets. Just getting them cleaned up and getting ready to cut some pieces to box them in. So need to get started on those. But while he's doing that, I'm going to cut a couple pieces of angle iron that go across the front, across the back, and I may put one somewhere here in the middle just to help tie everything together. So I'm gonna probably get that done real quick while he's cutting some of that out. Well, there's the back half of this done. pretty happy with how it came out. I went on ahead and drilled some holes for the deck plate to mount to, just so they won't be drilled into fresh paint. But this is all finished for the moment. So now we're working on fuel tank brackets. Dad's been bending up some of these so I can weld them together. And then we're going to get them put on. I got a fuel tank over here I'll show you real quick. I've been trying to figure out how to mount them, make them look right. I'm a little bit frustrated with where the fuel cap is, because with the way the fuel cap is on these being to that side, you can't put a fuel tank strap over there. So the fuel tank strap, the closest it can be is here to this way. So if you would balance that, it would make the two straps real close, and I don't like it. So this one's going to be a little bit offset to this one, but I think they'll be spaced good, that it'll look right. But I didn't know the fill necks were like that on these tanks, but they'll still be fine. So, well, let's get these mounts done, get them welded on the frame, and then I'm going to shove this thing outside and get some thumbnail pictures for you guys, and then get it back in here and get the cab off of it, the engine and transmission out of it, and get it on the trailer ready to go to paint. So I should be inside building you guys a video, but it's not going to happen. I got too much to do. So got the brackets done on this side as well. Everything came out pretty nice, pretty happy with that. And old John showed up to help out tonight a little bit. So we just did this box. I wanted to get it done real quick, so I didn't video it, but the battery box is done too. So now it's just a matter of, I'm gonna shove this thing outside and get a few pictures of it and stuff, and spin it around and push it back in, because we got to get the cab off it tonight still, and the engine and transmission out. So yeah, we're getting closer though. Well, I got it spun around, got it back in here with John's help. It's good he stopped by tonight, because I would have done that by myself. So now the plan is to get the cab off of it. So we got to get the radiator, intercooler, all this stuff back out of it, which comes out pretty easy. Pull the 6 cab bolts and lift the cab back up off this thing, and disconnect steering shaft. That's important. Make sure I don't forget that. And then we'll push the frame back out, and we'll get the cab down on rollers and roll it over here out of the way, pull it back in, get the engine out, and then on the trailer it goes for paint and sandblast tomorrow. Well, we got the frame loaded. Everything's ready to go for tomorrow. It's definitely been a long few days of getting this thing together, but glad we made it to that point. I can finally breathe a little bit. I mean, there's still a lot to do, but at least I got this first milestone done of getting the frame off the paint. So I got a lot of work to do on this cab still. I mean, now that it's off the frame, there's a lot of stuff on the firewall and on this doghouse I want to finish up that needs done. And so yeah, there's all that to do. There's some stuff inside to still do. Jared's got a screen that he's getting that is going to go in this area here, so I'm going to have to make a whole bracket for that with some cup holders and stuff. So there's that stuff that's coming I need to do. So, and then before this cab goes back on the frame, I do believe I got to paint the inside of it and got to paint all this in here in the firewall and engine bay area and the bottom of the cab. I forgot about that. So I'm going to paint it, or either have, I might take it to Linden where the frame's going tomorrow, and just have him do it just so it's done good. He could sandblast the bottom and all that and make it real nice. So may let him do all that. And then I'm going to take this thing and, you know, the oil pan actually looks a little crusty. I don't know. I may put an oil pan on it just so you don't have issues with that leaking oil. I don't see any seals or anything that's really leaking on this thing. I mean, it should be a fresh motor from what we were told. So I kind of believe it because I don't see really much of anything. So if anything, I'll probably just sandblast it. I'll probably power wash it all off, it and the transmission, and just paint everything just black. That's what Jared and I talked about. Just to freshen it up and make it look nice. I do know there's a seal here that needs replaced. That guy is definitely not good. I think that's where all this oil's come from. It's just come out of that seal up there. So yeah, I got work to do to this, work to do the cab. So even though the frame's not here, I still have plenty to do with some of the stuff that's here. So I got a few weeks to get this thing wrapped up and on the road and driving. So stay tuned. It's going to come together pretty quick here in the next few weeks, and be done with it and on to the next one. So, well, I'm going to go in early, 11:30. I'm going to call it quits, if you call that early, but it's early for me for what I've been doing out here. So we're going to take a shower and call her quits for the night, and probably work on editing this video, because here it is Friday evening. You guys are probably wondering why you don't have a video. Well, it's because I've been trying to get all this stuff done. So if you're watching this, it's probably Saturday or after. But yeah, my plan is to get it up Saturday. So, but if you're watching this, it's up. So there you go. But well, I think we're going to be done there for this video. So appreciate you guys watching. God bless. We'll see you on the next one.